YouTubers, I need your help. My mother, Mary Gaskins, purchased land that was part of a larger estate on February 23rd, 2006, from two sisters, Mayola Calhoun and Armenta Stringfield, in Live Oak, Florida, Suwannee County. Now, Enterprise Rent-A-Car had a final judgment against one of the owners of the property, Armenta, for about $11,000. So once the land was divided and legal, Enterprise placed a lien on the property the sisters were selling. And neither of them had paid the taxes on the property for about 5 years, 2001 through 2005. So the deal they made with my mother was, out of the purchase amount, $39,000, give or take, she would pay the back taxes as well as the lien on the property, and whatever was left, the sisters would split. My mother received her property deed at the beginning of March and moved on to her dream property. But soon after the deal was finalized, another sister, Reverend Gloria Ford, protested the sale of the land. How my mother was introduced to Reverend Gloria Ford? Well, my mother, Mary Gaskins, and the land surveyor met at the property to replace survey stakes that had mysteriously been removed. When they were there, Reverend Gloria Ford drove up and informed them she pulled them up. She claimed it was her father's, Jerry Calhoun's, land and could not be sold. My mother heard this and began searching for a lawyer. Not knowing anyone in town, a county clerk suggested George W. Blow III. So the following morning, Mother hired and paid him in full. Blow, coincidentally, had a prior engagement out of town. He agreed to represent my mother, Mary Gaskins, that morning. But by that afternoon, unbeknownst to my mother and her attorney, they would have to be in court the following day. My mother unfortunately went to court without an attorney. The courts informed her that she was not allowed to move anything or improve on the land until the case was settled. Once her attorney, Blow III, was back in town, he was able to get Mother, Mary Gaskins, a court date, June 28, 2006. Although my mother thought this would be an open and shut case, sadly she was mistaken. On that day, she was informed they had to vacate the land. Her attorney did have a document prepared that would allow her to stay on property that is in the estate near the land she purchased until this case is settled. Not really understanding what transpired in court, she wanted to know why he did not press the evidence that proved the person who opened this case, Reverend Gloria Ford, had perjured herself with the affidavit that is attached to property of Ollie and Jerry Calhoun and Larcy Jackson, and has been around for over 14 years. So, once it really sunk in that she was being told to vacate her dream property, a day or two later, she went to George Blow's office to get a better understanding of what really occurred. He informed my mother that no one really owned the property. This really didn't make any sense. So she said, I had a title search done. If they divided the land on August 22nd, 1998, where it shows on the warranty deed, and then injustice occurred, she traveled to Tallahassee to get someone to listen to her. They gave her the name of Assistant State Attorney Robert Jarvis, Jr. in Live Oak, Florida. He advised Mother to get a lawyer to take her in front of a judge to tell what had transpired. My mother found a new lawyer, Barbara Hobbs. She found out that Reverend Ford's father never owned the land my mother purchased. With my mom's obtained research from Ownership of Encumbrance Report, which basically is a more detailed title search that goes back to 1944 to 2007, along with the original deed that Lillian Henderson is in possession of, proved that Reverend Gloria Ford's father, Jerry Calhoun, had no rights to the land my mom, Mary Gaskin, purchased. Now, in order for Barbara Hobbs to be able to continue the case, she would need the children of the original owners of this particular estate. The original owners were Only Calhoun and Ollie Calhoun. Ollie was never married and did not have any children. Only was the father of two children, Lillian Henderson and Eva Hinton, the heirs of the property before it was divided. Please check out video part 2. I just wanted to say my mother just wanted people to know that these are her opinions, her perception on how her land has been stolen from her in Live Oak, Florida, Suwannee County.